Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris, and I wanted to jump in front of the camera here for you to talk about a current marketing topic that's going on right now. It's getting a lot of attention, and I'd like to do these videos, once a week if I can, where we take an example of something going on and it's kind of a current event in the marketing world, and trying to derive a lesson from it that small business owners can use, and learn from for their own business, right? And this week, the example is Gillette. And by now, you probably have heard of it. If you haven't heard of what's going on with Gillette, you should definitely just go do a Google search or a YouTube search for Gillette and look for their We Believe video. This video just came out yesterday, and that was January 15th. So today's the 16th. Yesterday, the video came out, and it's a video that is kind of taking aim at this idea of what it means to be masculine. Now, the content itself is super emotional and very powerful, but there's a lot of controversy around this video, as you'll start to see if you do some Google searching. So, let's dissect it during this video. I'm going to tie it to small business at the end and how you can learn from this. And there's a couple really key points here. So first, on the surface, the video could be seen as a huge win, okay? Over the last year, Gillette hasn't released a video that has gotten this much attention. The last video that they got that had this much attention was over a year ago. They released a Father's Day ad that got like 4 million views on YouTube. And that's pretty good. The ad itself, I really like that ad. It's very emotional, very powerful, and it speaks right to their tagline of the best a man can get. Right in that vein of you gotta be, try to strive to be the best man you can be. Now, fast forward to yesterday, they released this video, the We Believe video, and this video's got 11 million views. So in between Father's Day last year and now, none of their videos have even come close to the Father's Day video at 4 million. They're like 50,000, 20,000. I think 1.6 million was the biggest one in between the two. So 11 million views is huge, and all the media attention they're getting, CNN's mentioned them, CBC, Fox News, everybody has made a comment, and even me, about Gillette. So that on the surface, you may say, well, press is press, right? Get that name out there, become a trending topic, it's the thing. But I think that alone, if you just look at that as your measure of success, sure, it was a massive success. But what we have to do as marketers and business people is we have to look at the next steps here, because what's going to happen over the next week, 2 weeks, is that no one's going to remember. No, everyone's going to forget about it. Okay, and what will be left is the emotional impact that was created from the ad. And this is where the real problem takes place. So at the time of recording this video, the new We Believe video on YouTube, like I said, 11 million views, 11.5 million views, 275,000 upvotes, 660,000 downvotes. It's like a 2-to-1 ratio. I wrote an article yesterday, it was like a 3-to-1 ratio, so it's improved a little bit, but still, like a 2-to-1 ratio, more than 2-to-1 ratio on downvotes to upvotes is really insane, right? Their Father's Day video from over a year ago had like a 10-to-1 ratio of upvotes. Okay, so there were 10 times as many more upvotes than there were downvotes. In this case, there are over 2 times the amount of downvotes that there are upvotes. And the reason behind that is that the video is kind of inserted itself into this argument that's going on in the political sphere that that either there's a war on masculinity, or there's the Me Too movements on the other side of it. It's like left versus right, and it's a heated discussion, right? There's a lot of people on both sides of the ball, and whether or not you agree with the phrase that masculinity is under attack or not, right? That's aside from the issue. The fact is that there's a lot of people that do think that. And by a lot of people, I mean like a lot of people, right? Half the country voted Republican in the last election, and a lot of those folks are kind of in that mindset that masculinity is under attack. Not all of them, obviously, but there's a sizable portion of them. So, your way that your video was perceived, coming back to Gillette now, when they released it, is that it was an attack on masculinity. Read the comments, right? There's a lot of people that say that, and a lot of the news articles are also saying that. So, you've kind of inserted yourself into an argument and taken a stance, even if you didn't intend to take a stance initially. You did, because that's how it was perceived, right? In the advertising business, it's not necessarily what you say, but it matters more about how your message was perceived. And to a lot of people, it was perceived as an attack on masculinity. Okay, so that's like an impactful thing on its own. Now, on the flip side of the coin, their message really didn't say anything controversial or crazy impactful, right? They said things that most everybody can agree with, right? That sexual harassment's bad, and that not bullying people is good, and being a good dad is good, right? All those things are very true, and most of the population on both sides of the political spectrum are going to agree with that, right? There isn't a single person that matters statistically that thinks that sexual harassment's good, right? So Gillette comes out and makes this statement like that, and I lost my train of thought here, but this is what I was going to say. So they make their statement, and they don't really gain any new followers, right? They don't say anything so impactful that they gain a bunch of new people, right? And new people to agree with them, because what they said is agreeable by everybody. But at the same time, they alienate a massive portion of audience because of the way that they've entered the conversation and at the time that they've entered the conversation. Okay, so it's an issue of gaining a little bit maybe and losing more than what you gained. So the reason I don't think this was a good marketing strategy is because, in the long term, people that are upset about this are going to remember it. Okay, they're going to remember it longer than the people that thought it was a good ad or not. So in a week, everyone's going to forget about it except for the people that were pissed. Right? That's generally how stuff happens. So here's where this ties into the local and small business owner. What I wouldn't want to happen, and this is the same thing I would tell my clients, is what I wouldn't want to happen is that you take a look at this Gillette thing and you say, man, they're getting all this attention. We should release a political ad of some sort. We should take a stance on something, or we should do something like that. And I would advise heavily against that. Try to avoid being political in your advertising, or at the very least, sometimes you can. Sometimes it's okay to be political depending on what type of brand you are, but in most cases it's not. So it's rare exceptions where that's okay. At the very least, try not to insert yourself into a conversation where half of your audience thinks a certain way and half of your audience thinks a different way. Your objective as a business is to try to sell as many things to your audience as possible. So you want to appeal to as many parts of your audience as possible, right? So what you don't want to do is appeal to half of them and alienate the rest. Okay, that's just with your message. It's just not a smart thing to do. You'll sell less, and the people that have grown to like you over the time are going to be alienated because of what you said and how you said it, right? So general rule is, don't get political with your messaging. Keep politics out of your marketing. Definitely stay out of arguments that are split 50-50, and spend time really thinking about your message and how it will be perceived, right? Remember, there's a difference. There's a difference between what you say and how that message will be perceived. And it's how the message will be perceived, that part, that's really the important part. All right, talk to you guys next week. See ya.